Boom, shaka, laka, boom. You've tuned in to the free-range human show of choice, your daily dose of reality radio. This is the Clay Edwards Show. I'm, of course, Clay Edwards. We are live here on 103.9 FM, WYAB, streaming worldwide, of course, at WYAB.com, and in 4K video at Save JXN, that's Save Jackson, on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Rumble. Was just talking to my morning predecessor. I guess that's what he would be, correct? Predecessor. He comes on before I do. That would be Mr. Matt Bishop, and he was talking about Rumble is growing on his end as well. It is, man. Rumble is definitely growing. Free speech video platform. That is mighty rare. Mighty rare these days. Big gaming streamer, which I don't game or do any of that, but I keep up with it because if you're going to be in this space, you need to know who's who. Dr. Disrespect is over on Rumble now and is a part owner, and the platform has already gotten better from a user standpoint since he got over there. So anyway, if you're not on Rumble, download the app, add it to your phone, to your Roku, to your Fire Stick, whatever. And of course, make sure you're following me. Over on Rumble, you can type in Clay Edwards Show or Save JXN. So apparently I set up 2 channels there under one channel. I don't know. Anyway, I digress. But we're there. We are there. We are live here this morning. I was watching, we got a lot to get into today. I'm waiting on my notes to load here. I was watching WWE Raw last night. A little wrestling. Wasn't nothing else on. And they debuted on Netflix. We've been talking about this for a while. Maybe not on this show, but I know on the sports show, Sean and I talked about it a good bit after the Logan Paul, or whichever Paul brother it was that fought Tyson. And you're going to see a lot of sporting events, I believe, move over to these streaming companies. Frankly, I'm surprised it's taken as long as it has for this to happen. But WWE Raw now is exclusively, as of last night, on Netflix. And I think it's a massive game changer. And it's a huge hit to normal, linear cable. Am I saying that right? Linear cable. So, I don't know. I find all that stuff just wildly interesting. And it's making live content all the more valuable. If you can produce live content, must see, must hear content that's better served live than pre-recorded, you have an opportunity to make some money in this generation. Whether it is live radio, a live stream to the internet, or if you actually, create a sports league or something like that. That's why you're seeing so many crazy sports leagues pop up. And they're not nearly as corny as they used to be, because these networks want live entertainment. Even Netflix, which is not known for live entertainment, is known for pre-recorded TV shows, comedy, et cetera, et cetera. But they want that live. That's advertising dollars. That's what advertisers want, because we can all fast forward through ads on a delayed watch, I mean, even on this show, when I upload the podcast, I don't edit the ads out. It doesn't record the ads during the break. So when I go and I download the show and I upload it to like your audio only platforms, Podbean, Apple, Spotify, etc., that's why there's no commercials in there. Not because I want to cut them out necessarily, but I also know that, let's just be honest, commercials keep this train going down the track. But I also know that between the live reads and the pre-recorded commercials, you guys wouldn't listen, or you would just skip through it. So that's one of the other reasons I don't put them back in there manually. But anyway, that's what makes live radio can't miss. It would make live sporting events can't miss. I mean, has anybody ever really gone back and watched a game on DVR? Like a Mississippi State or an Ole Miss game or what, JSU, whatever. Have you ever missed it and gone back and watched it on DVR? I mean, I have. I've tried. But it just doesn't work. Because inevitably, you probably already know the score no matter how hard you tried to avoid it. That's impossible. Unless you just cut your phone off. And then you got to hope you don't run into nobody. Anyway, inevitably, you just end up fast forwarding through. So I don't even try anymore. If I miss a game, I just miss the game. I'll catch the highlights. So anyway, that was the longest way around to get to where I wanted to go to ask y'all a question. They showed Topanga from Boy Meets World on my TV last night. She was at that wrestling event. Topanga. And it got me to thinking. I still had the biggest crush on Topanga. So this is for my Gen Xers out there. I guess girls, y'all can answer this question too. My Gen X guys. Who did you have the biggest crush on? And we're going to get into all the political stuff and all the chaos, I promise. But who did you have the biggest crush on? Topanga or Kelly Kapowski from Saved by the Bell? I'm more of a Topanga guy. I can't remember her real name. Doesn't matter. She's Topanga. If I was dating her, she'd be Topanga. Married Topanga Edwards. Anyway, Topanga or Kelly Kapowski? Kapow. That's a hell of a last name, isn't it? Kapow. From Saved by the Bell. Shoot me a text on the Guns and Gear text line, 769-241-1944. Give me a call. Am I missing out on a late 80s, early 90s teen female heartthrob that surely there was none hotter? I don't know. Brooke Shields was pretty hot, but she was older, right? And she wasn't like on a TV show either, was she? Anyway, we're going to keep this simple. We're going to keep it between Kelly Kapowski and Topanga, and I'm in Team Topanga. So, yeah, Jason watching on YouTube, it says Topanga certified goat. That's it, man. She's still a certified smoke show. I saw it last night. It was like, dang. I ain't been in the gym in about a month, except once, I think. I think the about time to go knock the rust off just in case I run into Topanga somewhere. I ain't looking my age. All right. Hey, look, if you're watching online, you see me wearing my FAFO Mississippi Blackout Tag shirt. We got shirts and hoodies in stock. I'm out of a few sizes, mediums in particular. I don't think I have a single medium in stock in any size or any design, but I've got plenty of others. If y'all would, go to my website, buyfafo.com. That's buyfafo.com. Big news, hats are back. They'll be in stock this week, but the FAFO hats, and I took my name off of them. So if you just like that FAFO logo, the G.I. Joe one, that's behind me on the wall here if you're watching on the internet, it's just got that on it. So you don't have to try to explain who Clay Edwards is to people while you're wearing a hat. I think they look good. We got 4 different colors, mixed match colors. We got a khaki and brown that has no business looking as good as it does when you say those 2 colors together. But I think it might be the best looking hat of all of them. And they are on the website now. You go ahead and pre-order, and it'll ship as soon as it gets here. All right. Let's see here. 716. Let's look at the Guns and Gear text line. All right. Unknown texter says, can't forget, I always get her first name wrong, Soleil, Moon Fry, Punky Brewster. Yeah, I mean, Punky was cute. She didn't really have that sex appeal, per se. But I guess you're not really supposed to at that age. But looking back, Kelly Kapowski and Topanga, they had sex appeal, even if they weren't trying to. Especially Kelly Kapowski, those big cheeks, man. Love it. Captain Total says Kelly Kapowski. Jason says Kelly. Leslie says Topanga Edwards. I'm dead. I'm just telling y'all, boy, she'd get wifed up so quick. She wouldn't know what had happened. What had happened was, I call a little bit of that South Jackson mystique. You know, every girl, as I've gotten a little older here, I've learned that girls tend to think they want a guy that's a little rough around the edges, because they can fix us, right? They want a guy that's a little rough around the edges, and then they get the guy that's a little rough around the edges, and they're like, this MF broke. I don't mean financially, so to say. I just mean emotionally, physically, internally. Scarred. I don't think I want this reclamation project. But it is funny. Girls you would never think would be attracted to certain kinds of guys, as you get a little older, seem to find themselves attracted to certain kinds of guys. And then they get a little bit into it, and they're like, all right, what have I done? What have I done? All right, let's just take an early break real quick, come back, and let's jump into all of the good big news from yesterday. Kamala Harris broke another glass ceiling for black women's yesterday. Yep, she did. We're going to talk about that. I mean, just shattering black ceilings for indigenous, BIPOC, East Indian black women yesterday. Just huge moment in the women's movement. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the judge dismissing the case against the father and son duo that allegedly shot at a FedEx driver down there in Copiah County, I believe it was. Was it Brookhaven, maybe? We're going to talk about that. Is social media taking a lean to the right? Some big news. Dana White has been added to the board of directors at Meta. Also, Lauren Boebert has filed legislation to abolish the ATF. I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. We could abolish all of the federal three-letter police agencies, and we would all be better for it. 100%. You will never convince me otherwise. Also, Trump plans to immediately reverse Biden's ridiculous ban on new oil and gas drilling along the coast. And Chokwe Lumumba says, yes, I'm doing it. Jackson Mayer says he is running for re-election. And if we have time, we're going to get to, will your New Year's resolutions make it past Quitter's Day? We've got a big show planned for you this morning. We'll be right back here on WYAB and online. Don't go anywhere. Call a friend. Send a carrier pigeon. Let them know. Tune into the Clay Edwards Show on 103.9 FM right now. Back into the Clay Edwards Show here live on WYAB. This segment brought to you by our friends over at El Patrio Mexican Restaurant and Cantina right there in Crossgates, Brandon, right on Highway 80, and, of course, in Dogwood, right there on Highway 25. We had our last FAFO Friday lunch of the year there last couple of weeks ago at the one on Highway 80. What great service. They did us so well. Owner bringing us by shots of Patron at 11 a.m. on a Friday. I ain't judging. And I never turned down a free shot. I'm pre-genetically disposed as a mid-40s Gen Xer. You're not allowed to turn down a free shot, even if you don't want it. Lane Morrison and your Goldschlager. Anyway, I'm genetically predisposed to not be able to turn down a free shot. But that's just kind of customer service you get there at El Patrio. And I'm not saying everybody's going to get a free shot by no means. Please do not go in there and say, Clay sent me for a free shot. But you take 20 people to lunch, they'll probably buy you a shot too. But anyway, man, get by there, check them out. Great family atmosphere. They both have bars that are separated from the restaurant dining room themselves. So if you want to be able to sit over there, maybe you're on a date. Maybe you're on a date with somebody you shouldn't be on one with. Whatever the case may be. You got a little honey hole in there. You can kind of go hide up in the corner, get up in the cut there, as I like to call it. Great service, great drinks. The food's phenomenal. I'm actually going to eat lunch at one of them today. I got to swing by and do a little business. So I'm going to go by and get me the taco al carbone. Taco al carbone. Love it. Love it. Just fajita steak meat on a taco shell, on a flour tortilla shell. And then they bring out that special super hot salsa to put on it. I put a little melted queso with it. I mean, here we are, January 7th, and I've not exactly kicked my health march off with a bang. But YOLO. It's Mexican food, and I love Mexican food. Get by there, check them out. El Patrio Mexican Restaurant and Cantina, Crossgates and Dogwood. All right. The Guns and Gear text line, 769-241-1944. Miles Dove Jackson phone line, 601-879-0002. My Gen X question of the day. Guys, who's hotter, Topanga or Kelly Kapowski? Topanga from Boy Meets World, Kelly Kapowski from Saved by the Bell. Inquiring minds want to know. In the meantime, let's watch Kamala Harris break glass ceilings for black women's, for East Indian BIPOC women's, as she was the first one ever to have to certify her own presidential loss as the leader of the Senate by being vice president. Oh, this is glorious. If you're watching online, you get the full experience. If you're listening, you can still hear everybody in the crowd cheering when she announced her defeat.
70. The votes for President of the United States are as follows. Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received 312 votes. Kamala D. Harris
she's banging the gavel.
Kamala D. Harris of the state of California has received 226 votes.
It was great. You got Mike Johnson sitting behind her smirking. Now, I'm not the biggest Mike Johnson fan, but this is funny.
70. The votes for President of the United States.
Anyway, you got to love it. Breaking glass ceilings, just doing what all women's before her couldn't do. Like I said yesterday, Trump is a real equal opportunity butt kicker. He truly is. He's beat both women that ran as the Democrat candidate. I'm trying to think of a better word there. The Democrat candidate that was the main ticket individual, the Democrat versus Republican. He beat a white one and a black one. I mean, he's equal opportunity. Can't say he's racist. But it is kind of funny. Now, we also know that, of course, he beat Joe Biden, too. But that's neither here nor there. But it is funny that the party of diversity, the Democrats, have rolled two diversified individuals out there, and they both got drum-rolled, boat-raced by Donald J. Trump. You got to love it. Let's take a call here on the Mazda Jackson phone line this morning. Hey,
good morning.
Hey, brother.
Is this Clay?
Yes.
Hey, big head on this end. I feel good about it, too, just as well as you do, and I hope a majority of other people. But something more important that I discovered recently I'd like to share with you.
Yes.
The Dr. Ardis, ARDIS show.com. Go out on his website and look up his October 2023 podcast entitled The Antidote. I think you're going to be informed and alarmed. You're going to be scared, and you're going to be angry. And it's information that everybody in this country, as well as the rest of the world, needs to know.
Dr. Sardis?
Dr. Ardis.
Spell the last name.
ARDIS.
ARDIS. All right, I'm writing it down here.
Okay.
All right, I got it,
It's a
brother.
long podcast.
Okay, I'll check it out.
All right. I told Jameson about it yesterday, and I'm trying to spread the word to all you guys today. There are a bunch of people picking up one way or the other and become informed of what the deep state and the globalists are doing to us.
Hey, look, man, this is why we got the best listeners in America right here, man. You guys help keep us informed too, man. It's a collaborative effort, so
Amen.
I appreciate you.
Well, I appreciate what you guys do more than I can express to you. I wish there was a better way I could help you. Maybe I can buy you lunch someday.
All good, brother. All good, man. Thank you so much. Just listening does all I need you to do.
All right, buddy. You have a great day and stay warm.
Yeah, you too, brother. Thank you.
All right, take care.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
I tell you, and what I just said to him, and Jameson, I picked that up from Jameson early on. Jameson Haygood, who's here from 10 to noon every day, in case some of y'all may or may not be familiar. But the callers, the listeners, the texters, we all have a very important role to play with these shows in this information war. And we may be the face of whatever the time slot is, myself, Kim, Chip, Jameson, whomever. We have a revolving cast of characters here. We may be the voice or the face, while you're riding in the car. But you guys and girls that text us information, call, give us stuff, shoot me emails. I may not reply to everything, but I promise I read everything. I do read everything. There's some stuff that, just bogus links I'm just not going to click on. I get it, but, I do have to pick and choose a little bit. But generally speaking, I read everything. I definitely read it if you text me something, not just send me a link. But you kind of give me a heads up what it is and why it's important for me to spend an hour listening to it before I commit to an hour of listening to it. But neither here nor there. We can't do this without y'all. Y'all are collaborators. That's what Jameson calls it. And I couldn't agree more. You're collaborators. You're not listeners. And I don't consider folks fans. I don't like that. I don't like thinking that I have followers or fans or anything like that. I think we have collaborators. And I take it very seriously when y'all tell me that y'all watch or y'all listen because I say the things y'all can't. And I used to kind of rub me the wrong way because I just always said that I thought that if we would all just say the dang thing, it wouldn't be weird. If we'd all just speak the truth, it wouldn't be weird. It wouldn't be a need for me. I could still be selling cars. But I feel like there's a need for somebody to get up here and say the thing that everybody else feels like they can't say. So, but I have pivoted on that a little bit because I understand that everybody's just not going to do that, and everybody just isn't in a place where they can do that. So I will gladly carry that mantle or fall on that sword for all of you when it comes to that. Let's see here. Oso Duro on YouTube, I hope I'm saying that right, says that SSRIs are flying off the pharmacy shelves into feminist mouths. Yes, they are. It's funny you say that because hard pivot here. I was talking to somebody on Facebook the other day. I think it was under a picture of that white couple down in Hattiesburg on Dark Horse Press that beat the crap out of each other. And I don't know what it was. We just got into this conversation, and somehow it turned to crazy women. And I was like, what I do now is, like on a first date, I just kind of pick the purse up and shake it, just somehow or another. And if it rattles, like a pill in a medicine container, I'm gonna ask some questions. If you're on any kind of SSRIs, I'm probably out. That's probably a deal breaker, especially if you're mixing it with alcohol. But that's just me. That's just me. I don't want that crazy in my life. I'm sure we can have a good time. It'd be exciting. It'd keep me on the edge of my seat. But I don't think I want that kind of crazy in my life. And look, we got a dark horse candidate here. What am I thinking? We got a dark horse candidate here. Kelly Bundy. David on YouTube says Kelly Bundy. Well, how did I not think about Kelly Bundy? Man, Kelly. That's what white trash dreams are made of right there. Kelly Bundy. All right, we're going to stay on schedule this morning. When we come back, we're through celebrating. We're through celebrating Kamala Harris's breaking more glass. Kamala Harris's. I can't talk this morning. We're through celebrating Kamala Harris breaking glass ceilings. When we come back, let's jump into a little bit of local news here with the mayor. Leslie had asked on the text line, on the Guns and Gear text line, about people qualifying for mayor's race. So we'll talk about that. And there's other mayor races out there too, other than just Jackson. You got one that's going to be heating up in Brandon. Butch Lee versus Fred Shanks. Going to force a lot of people to have to pick sides that I know both of them have campaigned for and co-signed on. What side are they going to fall on? We're going to expect people to pick sides. If Fred or Butch campaign for you, I want to see you all campaign for one of them. So we're going to be watching that closely. We'll talk about it when we come back. This is the Clay Edwards Show. We're right back on WYAB. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show. This segment brought to you by Home Hearing Healthcare. Life moves fast, and so do advancements in technology. That includes hearing aids. Dr. Carrie Tilly Snyder at Home Hearing Healthcare has qualified audiologists who can help you navigate all the options to ensure you select the best hearing aids for your lifestyle, budget, and cosmetic preferences. Whether you're in a crowded restaurant or sitting in a church, new hearing devices help you hear what is most important, no matter where you are. If you're looking to upgrade your current hearing aids or are considering them for the first time, visit homehearinghealthcare.com to schedule an appointment today. We've had Dr. Snyder on here several times now, and if you just told me that we're going to talk an hour, 2 different times about hearing aids, I would have been like, oh God, put me out of my misery now. It's 2 of the best shows, most informative shows I've ever done. And I come out of it just mind blown every time at just how good and engaging and well informed Dr. Snyder is, and how interesting it is to talk about hearing loss. Maybe it's because I have half an ear. So, all right, let's get back to it. Guns and Gear text line 769-241-1944. The Mazda of Jackson phone line 601-879-0002. Who's your early favorites for some of these local mayor races around here? The only 2 I'm kind of plugged into, I'm just going to be honest with you, right now is Brandon and Jackson. I did see where my buddy Jake Wyndham is going to be running for his third term there in Pearl. Of course, big fans of Jake here. So I don't know if anybody's decided to run against him or not, but can't imagine they're going to have much luck if they do. But hey, that's why they play the game. So best of luck to Jake. If anybody else qualifies, I don't know. We'll keep up with it. But Brandon, I'm telling you, man, you got us a multi-term. What's Butch doing? 3 terms now. This would be his 4th, I believe. I think I got that right. Either way, got a rather successful mayor. Done a lot for Brandon. Got the amphitheater. That's a big deal, by the way. That amphitheater is a big, big deal. Nobody else around here has built an amphitheater. I discovered amphitheaters in around summer of '99. Had never been to one before. I never went to Mud Island for a concert, and I hate that. They're trying to revive that without any money. Local community groups trying to revive Mud Island. I would love to go see a concert at Mud Island Amphitheater. But anyway, I'd never been to an amphitheater before until the summer of '99 when Poison got back together. We drove to Dallas to the old Starplex Amphitheater. I think it's called the Dosaki Amphitheater now, maybe. I don't know. They go through these corporate name changes. But its initial name was Starplex Amphitheater. I'd never seen these things before. And then I ended up, when Poison got back together, I'm like a deadhead. I follow Poison around, though. I love 80s hair metal. So I've been to every shed, and they call them sheds. That's the nickname for amphitheater. I've been to every one in the South now, going to concerts. But prior to that, I'd never been to one. And I was like, man, why don't we have one of those here? That seems like a really easy solution to not having to build another arena for a sports team we're never going to get. Build an amphitheater. I prefer them have put a roof over it, like most of them have nowadays. Well, actually, they've kind of getting away from the roofs over them, but they should have a roof over the seating part and then have a lawn that's not covered. But anyway, Brandon got one of those. That's a big deal. We actually have concerts here again. I don't have to drive 3 hours every time I want to see a show. We actually get some variety here. Got to see Creed in my backyard. That's cool. So you got Butch, revitalized downtown. Just done all the things he's done. You've got Fred, a super popular individual, going into his 3rd term as state representative for Brandon. Gotten Brandon a ton of money. They're about to make some generational infrastructure changes out there over on the Highway 18 area. That's because of money Fred helped get. They're about to build a new flyover bridge that goes from the interstate to over the railroad tracks, past Pepsi and all that stuff. I mean, it's going to be a pain in the butt while they're doing the work, but no pain, no gain. So you got that. And it's super smart. I mean, super popular in Fred. I know Fred campaigned for and kind of co-signed on several not supervisors. What's the word I'm looking for here? Maybe supervisors too. What are their councilmen? Aldermen. Several aldermen out there. Several politicians have leaned into Fred for endorsements. That's the word I'm looking for, endorsements. Will they repay those favors and endorse Fred? Or will they stick with Butch? It's going to be interesting. I mean, just from a political theater standpoint, I'm really looking forward to the drama, because I'm going to tell you what, these suburban political races, they drama. Like, if you just like drama, these things are fun to watch. And I lived in Jackson for so long. They're not really, they can be entertaining, but let's just be honest. There's usually a favorite. The favorite wins. I don't know who the favorite would be with this. This is a coin flip as far as public sentiment. So we're gonna see. It's gonna be fun to watch. It's gonna be fun to watch people have to pick sides, and may the bridges they burn light their way. So that's what you got going on out in Brandon. Who do you guys like? You like Fred Shanks? You like Butch Lee? I mean, I'm conflicted. I mean, Fred's my guy. I mean, I'm going to ride with my guy. But, when I moved out to Brandon, I put a Butch Lee sign in my yard and supported Butch, and I like Butch too. I mean, but I'd be quite the crappy friend if I didn't support my best friend. And, I think he's a good guy for the job too. So, I mean, just to let y'all know where I stand on the thing, but I'm not going to ask y'all to pick sides and me not do it. But neither here nor there. I think it's going to put a lot of people in a bad spot over the next few months. Well, not bad spot, uncomfortable spot over the next few months as they both start working the circuit and get to going. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun to watch. Now let's move to Jackson. So in Jackson, you got Kim Wade, who I obviously support. Now, I don't have a dog in this race. I obviously support Kim. You've got Chokwe. Let's pull up Chokwe's press release here. Let me, you know what? I'm not going to pull it up on the screen. I'm just going to read it. There's no video. It says, this is from WLBT. It says, Jackson Mayor Chokwe Ntoro Lumumba reiterated on Monday that he is planning to seek a third term in the city's highest elected office days after candidate qualifying began. Quote, I am in that process. I know what the deadlines are. Well, you're good at moving deadlines. Anyway, allegedly. And I know what the deadlines are and the expiration of those. My plans are still the same. Yes, I'm doing it, he said. There has been much speculation around whether Lumumba would seek a third term in the wake of his 5-count federal indictment on Jackson bribery charges. The mayor remains defiant, saying he's not guilty and he would only be running for re-election if he thought it was necessary. Quote, I have made my statements with respect to that indictment. I told you that I'm not going to carry forward like a guilty man because I am not, he said. So I am going to proceed in that process. Lumumba was first elected in 2017 after narrowly losing a special election to fill out the remainder of his father's term back in 2014. Since then, he has won 2 landslide elections, carrying more than 69% of the popular vote in 2021. However, the mayor is likely facing multiple challenges in the Democratic primary this year compared to just 2 challengers in 2021. During Monday's press conference, he addressed some of the challenges the city faced, in particular, its lack of funding. Well, yeah, you're probably going to have lack of funding when you refuse to go to the Capitol and ask for money. I'm just going to say, that's why I kind of chuckle about Senator Horn. John Horn, is that his name? Talking about all these things he's going to do. Well, why haven't you done any of them now? Why haven't you done any of it now? I mean, these people who are already politicians, who are already down there at the state capitol, who aren't doing anything, who aren't getting their districts any money, they're just down there pretending to be the distinguished gentleman, decide that they're going to run for mayor, make it make sense. That's why I don't mind supporting Fred. I live out in Brandon. I see what they do. I see what the money that Rankin County gets. It's easy for me. Same with Josh Harkins. I mean, Josh ain't running for mayor, but I'm saying I can see what they do. Anyway, let's see here. Continuing on. He says you can't just say our roads are bad and we have issues with these facilities. You have to be able to identify dedicated streams of funding in order to address these things. You have to have programmatic solutions, he said. We're looking high and low and how we find programmatic. He done learned a new word, y'all. Programmatic. I have not heard him use this one before. Whenever he learns a new word, he loves to beat it into the ground. I remember when he learned interagency. I believe it was interagency or it was talking about the city and the county working together to pave some roads or some crap like that. And it was interagency, I think. And man, he said it about 7 times in one press conference one day. But they're trying to find programmatic solutions to long-standing challenges, not only infrastructure challenges of roads, but issues of our drainage. And we're trying to drain that swamp, that's for sure. He said people have complained about that, and rightfully so, he said, but what we tend to do is look at the entire public works budget, and we have a little here, and we have a little here, and we have a minor in everything, but we don't have major in anything. Goodness, a lot of words to say nothing. He touted the decision to use 1% funds as leverage for upfront money for road repaving work, saying more money is being spent now than under the last several administrations combined. Look, before we take this break here, if you would quit running businesses out of the city, if you would quit running taxpayers out of the city, if Jackson wasn't the fastest shrinking city in the country, if you had one retail development that you could plant your flag in, that wasn't leaving the city, you wouldn't have to beg for money. If you just, I don't know, did your job. And I'm not even talking about all the corruption stuff. This dude, I guess I will. This dude has spent the last 7 years spending more time figuring out how to enrich himself and the minority set-asides, because that's how he's enriching himself, allegedly, of course, is via kickbacks for steering contracts to those particular set-asides, allegedly, of course. Let's take our last break of the first hour here. This is the Clay Edwards Show. We'll be right back on WYAB and, of course, online in 4K video at SaveJXN on Facebook, Rumble, X, and YouTube. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. We're live here on WYAB as we get ready to land the plane for hour 1. Good stuff there, man. We're going to unpack the mayor stuff. There's going to be a lot to look at over the next few months. I think the primaries are in June. They're all going to be settled in the primaries for the most part. I think, other than Jackson, because Kim Wade, I think, is running as is Kim running as an independent or a Republican? I need to ask Kim. I know he ain't running as a Democrat. At least I don't think, unless he changed his mind, but I can't fathom Kim's running as a Democrat. There's no point in running. If you're Kim Wade, you run as an independent or a Republican, and you're going straight to the main ticket. There ain't no point in wasting your time in the Democratic primary, because you get to get on the debate stage against Chokwe if you run as a Republican. I can't imagine. Well, they may do a Democrat debate, but there'll be a general election debate, and that's where Kim Wade will eviscerate Chokwe Lumumba. I was also glad to see our friend Corinthian Sanders announcing that he's running for city council instead of mayor. I think he's got a heck of a chance of winning that race too. I think it's the seat to replace Virgie. Anyway, I had to look at that. But look, we'll be right back. I'm going to stay live online radio. See you in 7 minutes. All right, internet land. Sit here and talk to you guys. I don't want to put you all on hold for 7 minutes. So let's see here. Steven says, what about the chick on the Wonder Years? But there were a lot of hot chicks in the day. I'm team Topanga, but somebody did bring up Kelly Bundy. I'm like, man, how did I let that one slip through my fingers? I forgot about Kelly. She's still hot. Christina Applegate, she is still hot. Goodness gracious. Let's see here. Let's do this during the break here. Let's pull y'all's chats up on the screen and move we'll kill the overlay so everybody can read it. There we go. So everybody can see everybody's chats there. I'm sorry, man. The overlay just looks good. I spent a lot of money on those, but I do like everybody from all the different platforms to be able to read everybody's text. So let's see here. Joanna Patrick says, Kim Wade for governor. He'd be great and do Jackson good. Yeah. Heather says, Clay, thanks for all you do. Say the heat and you take it, etc. Prayers for you all the time. You know you're old school and, well, just friends stand hard on your platform. Well, thank you there, Heather. Thank you. Let's see here. Here's the thing with Jackson. You're just going to have to, and I know we just beat a dead horse talking about Jackson all the time, but they just give us so much to talk about. They just give us so much endless content. But it does get boring. That's why I was kind of glad I ended up sick for a week. I was getting burned out. I took my Christmas vacation and then was going to come back that next Monday, right there before New Year's, and got sick for a week. Hell, I'm still sick, sort of. But it was just burned out on talking about Jackson. Kind of burned out on talking about national politics. Not that I'm ever going to get tired of talking about it, but when it's just all you do is like a meat grinder. It's like I just needed a little bit of detox from it. So I just binged, watched some TV shows and all this, that, and the other. Got caught up on a bunch of Netflix shows and everything. So when I got back here yesterday, I was ready to hit the ground running, recharge. Now I'm ready to talk about all this stuff again. But it is repetitious. Because unless they elect Kim Wade for Mayor Jackson, it's all a moot point. They just replacing one asshole with another one. John Horn or whoever. I mean, they're just all one and the same. They're these wannabe civil rights era black folks that are just going to get up there and poor mouth everybody. Say that Jackson don't get funding. All this other nonsense. And there's only I think, one, we're going to get into a bunch more stuff. One of my New Year's, this is a terrible thing to admit. One of my New Year's resolutions was to do more show prep. So I have been doing more show prep. And so we're going to hit that show prep. Try to stay fast paced. You have 8 segments of the show every day. You get 4 segments an hour. I want 3 of each hour to be different segments, to be different topics. Fast pace. Boom, boom, boom. That 4th segment's just that last minute of the last hour. So there's no point in doing a fresh topic for those. But, all right, look, we're getting ready to come back. The intro music is about to be playing on the radio. I can't talk over it. Give me 60 seconds or less, and we'll be back live. Boom, shakalaka boom. It's hour 2 of the most incendiary show on the radio, and I dare say online as well. This is the Clay Edwards Show. I'm, of course, Clay Edwards. We are live here broadcasting from Flora, Mississippi. Out here in beautiful Flora, Mississippi. Looking out the window here from our WYAB skyscraper studios. Looking across 49 here at Cotton Exchange Plaza. Nice, brisk morning. I tell you what, you people that don't like this weather, y'all are the problem. Y'all are the problem. All you people, I see you girls out there posting your pictures of you in bikinis on social media, trying to get that serotonin boost. People liking your pictures, saying, "Oh, summer, take me back." No, it is winter. It's big boy time. Big girl too, for that matter, I guess. Let us shine. Let us shine for a little bit, would you? We got our hoodies. We got our jackets. We got our baggy clothes that it's too hot to wear in the summer. Let us shine for a minute. This is our weather. Y'all are part of the problem. You're the problem if you don't like this weather. This is beautiful weather. This is God's weather. This is the Lord's weather. I love cold weather. Until I don't. Right now, I still love it. It gets much colder than this, and I'm not loving it anymore. I'm posting bikini pictures, too, talking about take me back. Anyway, this segment brought to you by Martin's downtown Jackson and Martin's Livingston. If you're out riding around in Madison County this morning near the Livingston area, swing by Martin's Market, grab a made-from-scratch chicken biscuit, fried Southern-style chicken biscuit. Stop at the gas station, fill up with gas, run in, get you whatever you may need. The market is growing and growing. Every time I stop in there, there's more and more stuff. And, of course, look, let's just be honest. One of the best blue plates in all the South is at both Martin's locations on any given Monday through Friday. The country fried steak, it's available 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, or however long that kitchen's open, from 11 to, what time do they close the kitchen? Probably around 11. Anyway, you can get the country fried steak is an own menu item. It's not just a blue plate special. Swing by, check them out today. Enjoy a great lunch. The college football playoffs will be on all the TVs when they crank back up. And, of course, the NFL playoffs getting started, this week, right? So they'll have all the games on all the time, tons of big flat screen TVs, great bar, great drinks, great customer service. Martin's, downtown, jxn.com. And I'm not sure if Livingston has its own website or not, but they both have their own Facebook pages. Do a quick search. Check out all the local live entertainment and national touring bands coming through. All right. We were talking in the break online, and I just made a point that there's two people that I think could be good mayors for Jackson. Kim Wade or DeKeither Stamps. Now, DeKeither's not running. But I'd have no problem with DeKeither as mayor. Now, I've seen some people saying that here in the comments about him currently as public service commissioner. Tom says DeKeither has been raising people's electric and gas rates higher and higher. Not so sure he would make a good mayor, in my opinion. I mean, how much control does, and this, I'm asking this as a serious question here, how much control does the public service commissioner have over rates being raised or not? Is that something they specifically control? I'm going to be honest with y'all. I didn't even know we had public service commissioners until I met Brent Bailey, and until I realized that Brandon Presley was one. Couldn't even tell you what they did. Shame on me. I'm still getting a crash course in civics around here. So you keep finding out all these elected positions that we have around here. Like, really, we have 3 public service commissioners in the state? One can't do that job here? You need 3? But let's see here. Anyway, so Tom says yes, they can. Interesting. Well, we don't like rates being raised. That's for sure. But I didn't know the dude as a man. I think he would do a good job as mayor. Jackson's got much bigger problems than having to worry about the rates being raised. You got a guy. You need somebody that's going to come in and break some necks and get some stuff done, and that's going to be Kim Wade this time around. And that's all you got to do. Just come in and don't screw it up. I mean, whoever follows Chokwe is going to look like the greatest mayor ever if they just don't continue going left every time they need to go right, or going right every time they need to go left. I mean, Chokwe gets to whatever the intersection is. One direction says easy way. One direction says hard way, screw everything up. He goes hard way, screw everything up every time. Swims upstream every single time. If you just quit doing that, you don't have to be an analytical thinker. You don't have to be smart as Clay Edwards, as good looking as Clay Edwards. None of that. And you're going to look and sound as smart as me if you'll just not do the wrong thing. So, I mean, the next mayor's got it laid out for them. You just go in and quit doing the wrong thing right. Am I saying that right? I mean, Chokwe does the wrong thing right every time. I mean, scores a perfect -100. I mean, so you got a chance to come in that first 4 years and look like Donald Trump saving America. I mean, you could be Frank Melton levels of hero around here. And let's just be honest, Frank didn't get anything done. It was fun to watch. It was fun to see the criminal, morally bankrupt people of this city who begged for a crime savior, who begged for a Batman, to finally get Batman. There's another joke in there somewhere, considering one of his biggest rivals was Batman, the drug dealer, allegedly. And, you know, Jackson finally got the crime-fighting mayor it wanted until he actually did crime-fighting mayor stuff. And then, oh, Jesus, my baby didn't do nothing. I mean, I just watched the pearls get clutched around this city when Frank actually tried to do some law enforcement stuff. You know, the story of Frank is a strange one. Without going too deep into it, I'd forgot all about him being head of NBN at one point. How the hell did Frank Melton end up head of NBN? Wild times. And then he became Then he made McMillan the crime czar. He was sheriff and chief of police, which I didn't have no problem with that personally. But you would have thought everybody would have worked well together and everything. I'm not sure. I've heard conflicting reports on how all that went. I would need to talk to somebody who was there boots on ground and remembers if it was chaotic or not. It sounds chaotic in hindsight. It definitely does. But considering what the police chief has done or hadn't done the last 20 years, it couldn't have been much worse. Let's take a call from Derek on the Mazda Jackson phone line. Derek,
hey, buddy.
Good.
How you doing?
Good, man. I was thinking about you yesterday. I was like, man, I wonder what Derek's up to.
Oh, man, nothing much. Just, working hard and hardly working. Hey, I just wanted to ask you, what was your opinion about that whole Brookhaven PD thing and them dismissing the case with prejudice?
So I'm glad you brought that up. I'm at it in my notes to talk about here. There's surprisingly just very little information out there available about what led to that other than case got dismissed. At least I haven't found like a deep dive article on it yet. Of course, I was doing a ton of show prep last night and didn't circle back to it. Maybe they've updated it since then. But, my initial thought was this. And for me, it's easy to remove the race aspect because I don't know that race had anything to do with it. But that story especially when I saw the little feminine dude, and it just checks off a lot of boxes for somebody that I just don't believe the story. There's some holes in that story for me. I just don't know that he's this innocent victim they were trying to paint him to be. And clearly, this was a retrial, right? Wasn't this the second one?
Right, and then but they're saying that the police withheld, evidence, like an interview that they had with the driver and everything like that. And then I just find the story far-fetched. They chased you all the way to the interstate shooting at you like some cops and robbers stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole story had holes in it right there. Now, I was reading the comments, and somebody that claimed to work with that guy said that the vehicle was riddled with bullets.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either. Did it ever come out that they actually fired guns? Because it wasn't the story that, at least what I'd heard last time, and I guess I need to freshen up on this, but wasn't the story that he wasn't in a marked vehicle. It was one of those rental vehicles and shows up at their mama's house or something like that, and they just kind of start shooting. Is that the way that story was told?
Yeah, that's the way he's telling it, yeah.
I don't know, man. Look, let's just say that that's true for the sake of arguing. I know you ain't supposed to do that, but these boys down there in the sticks, man, some dude shows up, don't know who it is, in a white van, and we all know white vans are what people get kidnapped in, child molester vans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what we've painted these things as. A white van shows up to your old mama's house out in the middle of nowhere. And let's just be honest, old white dude see the black dude get out. It still is what it is, and in rural areas when it comes to that. And I'm just saying, their minds, if that's 100% we're supposed to believe at face value, that's what happened. And I'm not saying it's right, but I'm not saying that we should be surprised. Maybe that's the best way to put it.
Right. Give me a little more details before I can say yeah or nay, because I'm not going to just jump on the bandwagon because you throw the R word out there. The R word is the new N word.
Oh, yeah.
The R card.
Yeah, and I'm just going to say, it just don't help that the dude was looked like a tranny to me. I mean, looked transgender to me. I still don't know if it was a guy or a girl or what. They just looked very sexually fluid. It just checks off a lot of boxes for I'm oppressed, so you have to believe me.
Mm. Did you hear about the shooting in Newton, about the young lady got killed by some boys that tried to ambush somebody and come to find out they had the wrong car and the wrong person, and children like just wrong person. Did you hear about that one? Was
this the police doing it, or is this some criminals?
Some criminals done it, no. And then the criminals that they supposedly targeted got on Facebook and goaded them. Well, if you guys are going to put a hit on me, make sure you do your research. My car's been totaled.
Interesting. No, I missed that. I had a video go viral over the weekend or last week from a gas station shooting in Pickens. Got 10 million views on Twitter. It was just an ambush.
Well, again, it's one of these situations where an innocent person was killed because of people's foolishness. They didn't have anything to do with them, weren't connected, didn't know them. It was a situation where a guy saw a dark purple Dodge Charger and just started shooting, thinking it was somebody else. And the guy that they actually was intending to go after got on Facebook and pretty much, goaded all of them, saying, well, you guys are going to do something, come after me, make sure you do your homework. And it's just one big tragedy. We've caught them all, but it's just one big tragedy all the way around, man.
They did catch them?
Yeah, we got them all.
I'm telling you, there is something in this culture right now where everybody thinks you have to kill your ops. I mean, we've had too many mafia movies have rotted these people's brains to think that there's really this culture where you can just kill people with no consequence or repercussion. And frankly, here's the worst part is I don't think they care about the consequences and repercussions. It's like, yeah, I'm going to jail. It is what it is.
Well, Clay, let me counter your narrative on that one. Okay, we grew up with things like the wacky races and all that type of stuff. And South Park did a one huge episode about that. They're like, oh my God, no, they swear they wouldn't do this again. Making fun of cartoon violence. But yet all the parents go out and buy cereal because they were young enough to remember wacky races. But somehow, Clay, we didn't go out there trying to run everybody out the road on a go-kart or in a vehicle, did we?
No. Well, I hope not.
And we had much violent cartoons and things like that. But somehow we knew fantasy from reality. I just don't think the video games like GTA and movies play that much of a factor. I think it's the breakdown of the home once again. 100%. Because even when we watched those violent cartoons, we had a mother and father putting it in context.
No, 100%. That's what as you were saying that, I figured that's where you were going with it. And in my mind, I'm already agreeing. I'm like,
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Don't get me wrong. Does it help? Does all that help? No, it does not help. It does not. It does not help. But then you remove the father from the home, and mama's doing whatever she's doing. Obviously, morally broken, and you get these kids getting all this information just fed into their brain, this music, this lifestyle, this violence, and there's no filter there to stop them and tell them this is not real, this is reality, this is art, this is life. Art does not have to imitate life, or life doesn't have to imitate art, should I say?
Right. And I'll hit a little closer. Just like in my parents' time, when they're in their teens, the movie, the miniseries Roots came out, and if there are no parents there was there to put it in context, they went to school the next day, and every white face they can get their hands on, they cause violence. Now, but when I was coming up, we had North and South. Remember that one?
Yes.
But I had parents there putting it in context. So I didn't go to school wanting to be violent. You know what I mean? Because we watched it as a family, and I had my mother and father there putting it in context. Unlike in some groups when Roots came out, they went to school angry the next day. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Because more often than not, and the number was far and few between, because even when that movie come out, the black family was a nuclear family. But even in my lifetime in the 90s, when North and South came out, there wasn't no overwhelming amount of us wanting to go to school the next day in College Valley. You had some, but it wasn't like to the level that you would think it is like it is now, to where they feel like violence is the only option, because for the most part, coming from a single parent home, all they see is emotionalism and violence. So there's nobody there to put it in context.
Derek, great call, brother. I got to take my break. Good hearing from you. Don't be a stranger.
All right, no doubt.
All right, brother. Bye. Let's take a break real quick. This is the Clay Edwards Show. The Mazda Jackson phone line. You want to follow up on anything Derek had to say there? 601-879-0002. The Guns and Gear text line, 769-241-1944. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show here on WYAB, and, of course, online at Save JXN in 4K video on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Rumble. Welcome back in, everybody. It's been a fun show this morning. Knocking the rust off after being out a couple weeks. But, I thought I was the only one. I got started back listening to a podcast and following my YouTube guys that I pay attention to and all of that. And apparently all of them took 2 weeks off, too, for the end of the year. And nobody seemed to notice. So maybe that will be my new vacation every year. It's the last 2 weeks of the year. Because I don't do the beach. I went to the beach this year with a friend of mine, and we'll just say I didn't have fun. I mean, I had a good time when we weren't doing beach stuff, but I'd rather not waste a week at the beach. I would much rather just take a couple weeks off at the end of the year and work straight through the summer. It's just too hot outside to enjoy any of that. But anyway, this segment brought to you by our friends over at Pops Auto Sales, right there on Highway 49 South in Florence, Mississippi. Go by, see the team today. Heck, you ain't even got to go by. I recommend going by. But you can start online at popsautosalesllc.com. Check out all the inventory of late model cars, trucks, and SUVs. Warranties available on every vehicle. Well, just about every vehicle. There's going to be some super high mileage stuff I don't think you can get warranties on, but neither here nor there. Just about every vehicle, you got a warranty available. And you can get pre-approved by doing the credit app there at popsautosalesllc.com. Swing by, check them out today. Locally owned, locally operated, great service. And, of course, they buy vehicles too. Looking to sell your vehicle, swing by. Let them put a number on it for you. A lot of these used car lots are really pushing that these days. It's a lot easier to buy a vehicle from an individual than it is to have to go be the highest bidder in the room. Funny thing about auctions, everybody always thinks car dealers, just go and get these great deals at the auction. You see, it's the complete other way around when you're buying it from a dealer. You usually make the lowest offer, right? You think you do. But when you got to go buy it at the auction, it goes to the highest bidder. And then you don't know what problems you're inheriting when you buy that vehicle. What kind of recon is it going to need? I mean, I'll tell you, being around that as much as I was never a buyer. I know what I'm good at and what I'm not, and I didn't want to be responsible for buying something that had a hidden problem that I wasn't aware of. You get these guys, that know how to go buy these vehicles, and they specialize in what they specialize in. And they're like, all right, well, worst case scenario, if I got to fix this, I know how much I can bid on it. Anyway, kind of a rabbit hole there. That's a whole nother conversation for another day. But get by Pops Auto Sales today. Check out their line of quality used cars, trucks, and SUVs. Shop them online. popsautosalesllc.com. All right, let's pivot, man. We spent a long time talking about some topics I didn't necessarily plan on there. I want to hit Lauren Boebert. A little scoop of yogurt, Lauren Boebert. If she ain't nothing else, she is easy on the eyes. She is much better looking than AOC too, in my opinion. Like our crazy hot chick versus their crazy hot chick. I take our crazy hot chick. She's that kind of trashy I find myself attracted to. Like I was talking about earlier, there's girls that like guys that are a little rough around the edges. Talking about myself. There's guys that like girls that are a little rough around the edges, and you can spot it from across the room. Like you can spot some trashy, less than 100% morally correct decision making from across the room. You just see it in their eyes, the way they carry themselves. And I can just look at Lauren Boebert and tell, even before her movie theater shenanigans, that she just made some trashy, bad decisions that I could find myself enjoying. But I digress. Let's listen to Lauren talk about banning the ATF. Now, that's not a bad decision at all. That's not a trashy decision at all. This one I can get behind 100%. Let's take a listen here.
Bureaucrats don't create laws. Congress does. This rule functions like a law that Congress never passed. ATF, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. We don't trust the ATF because of their overreaching actions, exactly like we're seeing with this rule. Instead of providing regulations that keep our communities safe, this agency has made our communities more dangerous by laundering weapons to the cartels. Operation Fast and Furious exposed the recklessness of the ATF, how little regard they have for the rule of law, and Americans have had a hard time viewing these agencies and its rules as legitimate. Gun-free zones are the most dangerous places in our country. The Second Amendment is absolute, and it's here to stay.
Now, it will never happen. Make no mistake. But should it? Somebody call and sell me on why it shouldn't. These three-letter government agencies have outgrown their usefulness. Of course, we all know the FBI. We all know the FBI has outgrown its usefulness. You know, they got MAGA Mimo on a watch list in prison, but they keep missing the jihadi terrorist, the transgender terrorist, who they, by the way, had on their list. So it's quite entertaining to, in a sad way, quite entertaining in a sad way to see how what our government has grown into. But yeah, I'd be all for banning the ATF until somebody can figure out, get back to the core function of what they were created to do. But I don't even know that I agree with the core function of what they were created to do, just to be honest with you. Like Lauren just said there, our Second Amendment is our Second Amendment. I don't need the government nitpicking my Second Amendment, because that's what they do. Let's listen to that one more time. I don't mean to beat a dead horse here, but I really want to pay attention this time. Not just look at her. I'm guilty. If y'all are watching on video, you see what I'm talking about. Let's listen one more time.
Democrats don't create laws. Congress does. This rule functions like a law that Congress never passed. ATF, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. We don't trust the ATF because of their overreaching actions, exactly like we're seeing with this rule. Instead of providing regulations that keep our communities safe, this agency has made our communities more dangerous by laundering weapons to the cartels. Operation Fast and Furious exposed the recklessness of the ATF, how little regard they have for the rule of law, and Americans have had a hard time viewing these agencies and its rules as legitimate. Gun-free zones are the most dangerous places in our country. The Second Amendment is absolute, and it's here to stay.
Amen. That was the part I was trying to get back to, was the Second Amendment being absolute and here to stay. Now, Lauren shared this onto her Twitter. That was from the floor of the House yesterday, I believe. Some of the people up under it in the comments here on X say, yes, the ATF is not on the Constitution. The Libertarian Party of Tennessee says astronomically based. Some other agencies that they would like to add to this abolishment would be the Fed, the IRS, and, of course, the FBI. Can't disagree with any of it. You know, it's a sad state of affairs when public trust or public sentiment of our three-letter agencies is so low that law-abiding, law enforcement supporting conservatives are saying, abolish it. You know, I'm all for supporting local law enforcement, statewide law enforcement. The federal law enforcement has lost their way. And I've got friends in federal law enforcement. I've got family in federal law enforcement. Extremely close family. And, you know, obviously, when we talk about this kind of stuff, we're not necessarily talking about the boots on ground soldiers here. But there does get to a point where you have to say, you know, are you complicit with all of this? Now, I know this stuff got extremely politicized over the last 10 or 15 years. You get people who have been there 10 or 15 years. They're trying to get to retirement. It's a complicated situation because they're just doing, air quotes, just doing their jobs. But at some point, you know you're breaking the law. You know you're violating people's civil rights. You know you're stepping on the Constitution. And just doing your job is a violation of my constitutional rights. And by me, I just mean whoever is being violated, infringed upon. Sometimes you have to make a moral decision. Let's take a break. Ran over big time on that call with Derek. We got to make it up. We're going to do it now. We'll be right back. Welcome back in to the last full segment of the day here on the Clay Edwards Show. Be sure to swing by my website, clayedwardsshow.com. Hit that merch link and grab you a shirt, hoodie. It's officially hoodie weather. Or even a cap. That's right, trucker caps. Be back in stock later this week, first of next week. And they'll get shipped right on out with the big old FAFO on them. Would appreciate your support. Also, don't forget to check out 042 Wine and Spirits or Havana Smoke Shop today for all of your, well, the names are pretty self-explanatory, aren't they? Wine and liquor needs or high-end cigar needs. They got it all at 042 Wine and Spirits, located right there. Well, they have all your wine and spirits at 042, right there on Highway 80 in Brandon, Mississippi, right next to Sonny's Barbecue, locally owned, locally operated, Brandon's first liquor store, and voted its best liquor store. Swung by there the other day and got a little bottle of something. Well, it's been a little bit more than the other day. It's been about 2 weeks ago now. But anyway, I'm going to go in there, see Kevin and the team, Kim, all of them. I've been knowing those folks for so long, just good people. Whether you need the perfect bottle of wine to match with your dinner or you want that hard-to-find bottle of vodka or tequila, they got it all. They can do special orders, too, as long as it's available in the state, I believe. So confirm that with them. The holiday rush is over. Now it is just time to start adding to your home bars. Maybe you got a dinner party. You want to show up and impress with the right bottle of wine. Swing by, check it out. I'm a fan of the 19 Crimes myself. The Trump wine is really good, too, and they did have some. I'm not sure if they still do. That Trump red blend. Anyway, 042 Wine and Spirits, and, of course, Havana Smoke Shop in Jackson and on the Reservoir for all of your cigar and tobacco needs. All right. So, I know that apparently as Republicans over the Christmas break, you know what we don't do? The Democrats are really bad about this, and I've noticed that we're doing it too. We don't lead from the front very well, do we? We got so bored with ourselves since all the left-wing nut jobs left X for Blue Sky that we've just decided to start arguing with ourselves. Whether it's over H-1Bs or whatever else, which I think those are a terrible idea. Or at least they're being abused. I think the nexus of them wasn't a bad idea, but the current iteration of them, we're not bringing over the best and brightest from India. We're just not. There's actually a myth about the Indian genius. I saw iHypocrite break it down over the holidays. It's actually pretty interesting. But neither here nor there. You're bringing in free, cheap labor is what you're doing. But that aside, I don't want to get into that conversation. I just noticed that we're arguing with each other a lot online as conservatives because we've just gotten bored. We got this downtime between winning the election and just the ether of winning the election to January 20th. And it's just nitpick fight about everything. You know, I see that the press is trying to pit Elon and Trump against each other. That's their new game plan, to try to test Trump's ego by calling Elon the president. It didn't work, by the way. They tried that. They went full frontal assault trying to call Elon the president and to get under Trump's skin. Didn't work. Now they're constantly releasing little articles, still trying to needle him a little bit. It ain't going to work. You know, it may have worked 8 years ago. It ain't going to work today. But, so, social media, I don't know, these ain't got really nothing to do with one another. I guess I'm just talking about stuff I see on social media here. But, you know, sometimes it's easy to forget just how defeated we were. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say here. Like I don't think some of y'all remember how quick you could get deleted on Facebook for saying ivermectin. I had a 50,000 follower account, the original Save Jackson page, my personal Facebook page that I had for 10 plus years, deleted for posting a picture of Kyle Rittenhouse the day he was found innocent, by the way. They said I was celebrating a terrorist, and they never gave me my accounts back. That altered, losing those accounts altered my professional career for over a year. I had just opened up that detail shop. I was going to lean into, or that ceramic coating business, I was going to lean into being able to use my social media to get business and just snatch the rug right out from under me a week before I opened. So, and then we won't even talk about how hard it was to post anything on Twitter. But all that aside, we've come a long way. So far, that's what I need to tell you. Keep your heads up. Keep your chins up. And remember that we are winning. We're in this little lull right now where Biden's still president, trying to do all he can to destroy everything. But I mentioned Facebook for a particular reason. Meta, the parent company, has just added Dana White of the UFC to its board of directors, which makes the second straight right-wing addition to the board in the last few weeks as they continue to try to court Donald Trump. Guys, that's huge. That is huge because that tells you the direction they're trying to take these things. Now, there's always just going to be some things that you can't say on social media. Like, they're never going to let us talk about transgenders. Have a truthful conversation about transgenders on Facebook. They're just not. It is what it is. It's just like TikTok. That is their line in the sand. That's their line of demarcation. They're just not going to allow you to talk about it. Now, there's other places you can, and I highly recommend doing so, as always. But just be gleeful. Walk around with your head up. Quit looking for reasons to fight with one another over everything. I think some of y'all also just live online. Especially, you see it on X more than anywhere else. And I'm pretty proud of myself in that one aspect is I don't even have my notifications cut on for social media. Now, I post a lot, but I'm not on there. I'm not out on these mean Twitter streets just looking for fights constantly. Looking for things to get enraged about. Like, we won. We won big. We won all three branches of government. And we're about to take over here in less than 2 weeks. We just celebrated Insurrection Day yesterday, Patriots Day. Our fellow comrades are about to all be released here in a couple of weeks for falling on the sword to expose our government. It's a celebration. Don't forget that. Don't let them blackwash January 6th and try to make it something it wasn't. And it was an insurrection. Just not the kind they're trying to tell you it was. We exposed our government. And I ain't got no problem with that. Those people being held against their will, it set up an opportunity to catch Benny and Liz Cheney. If they didn't break the law, why do they need to be pardoned? Now, they hadn't been yet, but I can assure you they're going to be. Let's take our last break, come back, land the plane for the day. Online audience, stay tuned. I'm going to say goodbye to you real quick as well. We'll be right back on WYAB. All right, guys, appreciate you all tuning in today. Be sure to hit that like button, hit that share button, subscribe, all that good stuff wherever you're watching this now. Drop a comment. I appreciate everybody. I will be clipping this up. I'm going to get back to doing my daily live videos at the house and my news videos just as soon as I get back full strength. Still, and just whatever this crud is just still working its way through everywhere. And what it does more than anything just robs me of my motivation. But I'm trying. I appreciate everybody. Tom said, I do want to read this. Tom says, without law enforcement in the U.S., this country would be in trouble. Just don't violate anybody's rights. Got to have them, though. I don't think we have to have the federal law enforcement. I think you just give the states more power. You know, maybe you have some kind of crime czar that works with them. But I think all the policing needs to go back to the states. If we need to worry about terrorism and all that stuff, let the military do it. The same guys investigating terrorism don't also need to be investigating my bank account. Y'all stay blessed. I'll see y'all back here tomorrow. Same time, same place, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show. So we got about a minute left here. During that break, I was looking on X and I ended up on Outkick. That's Clay Travis's site. And they got a live show going right now. I'm going to try to listen to it after the break here. But apparently the title of the topic is Facebook Ends Censorship. Admits it went too far. So it says, admits banning free speech went way too far. So I'm going to investigate that. Hopefully we'll have some more to talk about that on that today. Benny Johnson did say there was going to be some kind of big announcement today in the social media world that was going to be big for free speech lovers. And I wonder, is that Facebook ending censorship? We'll see what they mean by ending censorship. Are we just talking about, we can talk about medicine now and face mask, or can we call out the trans agenda? We'll find out. Chip Matthews up next. I will see y'all back here tomorrow, same time. Peace.